Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're tackling the daily 3075 maximize happiness of selected children. You are given an array happiness of length n and a positive integer k. There are n children standing in a queue where the ith child has happiness value of happiness I. So that means here there's an array of children essentially and their happiness value. You want to select k children from these n children, so the quantity of children in the array, in k turns. In each turn, when you select a child, the happiness value of all the children that you didn't select decrements by 1. Note that the happiness value cannot become negative and gets decremented only if it's positive, and what we want to do is return the maximum sum of happiness we could do of the selected children that we did, selecting k children. So what does that mean? Essentially, we have k turns, k picks of children's happiness value that we can pick out, and we're trying to build the highest value. So already you might be thinking, okay, we want to pick the highest value each time, which is the approach to take. Now, a key thing to remember here is that we're going to decrement every other value. But there's a trick to this. Because we're decrementing it by 1 each time, we don't actually need to go through the array of remaining and decrement it. We can just keep a running total of the decrements. So whatever iteration of the loop we're at, right, of k, out of k we're at, we can just subtract it from the value. And so once we do that, we just keep plucking the biggest child until we're out of turns, and boom, we can get our return. So what does this look like on code? All right, everybody, so this is what the code solution looks like, and it's exactly what we were talking about. So first, we sort happiness in reverse order, so it's from greatest to least value, so that way we can always grab the biggest value when we start through the loop, right? And now we want to declare our total value that we're going to return to 0, and all we're going to go through is all the turns we have, our k turns, right? So we're going to say the current happiness that we have is the array value that we are at, and we also want to subtract I, because I is the number of turns we're at, and it's also the total decrement, right? Because each turn we decrement by 1, so we subtract that I. Now what we want to do is, hey, if the current happiness is bigger than 0, we want to append it to our total. If not, do nothing. This is what it would look like if you wrote it out just for visual's sake. And then at the end, we're just going to return the total. So a keynote here is that we're not actually modifying any array value that you might have thought to done that would have been inefficiently, right? We're keeping track of the decrement so that we know what each value should be, say it had been plucked out, not plucked out. And then we are simply appending it to the total if we need to, and we will always be selecting the biggest possible, so we are returning the biggest possible sum. But that's pretty much it for the video. The solution speed is actually going to be n log n, and this is because our sort here is going to be n log n, and then we're iterating through k times, but we know k is not going to be larger than our happiness value, and so if k is worst case n or 1 less than n, the n log n will dominate the O of n, so it just becomes O of n log n, where n is the length of happiness. That's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Follow for less. Peace.